What's up, y'all? I'm sorry to burst everybody's bubble, but we've all been lied to. We've been lied to by peers, we've been lied to by gurus on LinkedIn, we've been lied to by colleagues, by CEOs, CMOs, CIOs, CTOs, you throw in any acronym, we've been lied to by all of them. We've been even lied to by people that we love. Our parents, our cousins, our friends, they all lie. One of the biggest lies that I ever heard was that if you swallow bubblegum, it sits in your stomach for 7 years. Literally believed this for way too long. Another lie that I fell for was that you could get arrested if you had your dome light on. Learned this like 3 years ago. I was driving in my minivan. I went from Mini Cooper to minivan. I got 3 kids now. It's crazy. All kinds of gray hairs coming up. My daughter hits the light. I'm like, Aaliyah, you got to turn that off. No, you can't go to jail for that. My wife was like, what are you freaking out for? It's just a dome light. I thought I could go to jail. Not true. Another lie. AI written content will never drive results. I see this on LinkedIn every week. Somebody saying, oh, AI is trash, it's just AI slop, you'll never win if you use AI to write your content, it's garbage, it's garbage. Well, I'm a big believer in going out and actually finding answers to questions instead of believing all of the headlines and just like buying into whatever you read online. So I decided that I was going to find a site that was publishing a ton of content with AI written stories to see if this was true or if it was fake. Found this site called CNET. CNET creates tons of content. Hundreds of pieces of content every single day. If you're from CNET, I apologize, I didn't get your permission to talk about this, but here we are. They write a bunch of content on one of the most sensitive topics, money, right? So it's very competitive. You have to make sure that you're following all of Lily's rules around double EAT, experience, expertise, authority, and trust. You gotta make sure that's all taken care of. But they wrote this with AI, and guess what happened? Mistakes everywhere. Everybody was clapping. Human copywriters were applauding themselves, saying, look at us, humans forever, we're great, we won. Like, AI does suck, it's trash. Even articles were coming out left, right, and center saying that this was bad. CNET announces that they're shutting it all down. It was crazy. So what did I do? I got a glass of Barolo, I put on a pea coat, and I said, I'm gonna be Sherlock Homeboy, and I'm gonna figure out what actually happened here. So I decided, that's not actually me, just in case you're wondering. However, if anybody can find that pea coat, slide in my DMs. I have been looking. AI search has not been helping, but I would love to rock that one day. Anyways, I go into my little tools and I'm like, all right, let me figure out how much traffic this site was generating on the back of AI content. How much? Literally millions of annual visits till this day to AI generated content. We looked at every piece and we looked for citations that disclosed that it was written with AI, and it actually showed us through this research that they were generating millions of visits, 2.4 million, 2,400 backlinks, $1.3 million worth of traffic, meaning these pieces of content that they produce using AI were generating organically $1.3 million worth of dollars traffic, meaning you could spend it in PPC or you could generate it organically. As Mike said, I don't know why we don't invest in this organic thing when it can drive this type of results. Folks, there is no question that we are going through a fundamental shift in the way that business is done, the way that marketing is done, the way that all of us should be doing our jobs. AI is doing to all of our careers what robotics has long done to blue-collar work. Whether you like it or not, that's just the change. What we are also seeing is that as marketers, algorithms are nuts. Twitter's changing, it's now X. LinkedIn's reach is limited, depending on like your platforms. Humans get more reach than the brands. It's chaos out there. You look at Google, it has finally officially become a destination where you get the answers directly from going there. For years, they told you to create your content and they will send you traffic. Now that traffic is gone. However, you get a bunch of impressions directly in Google search. Tons of chaos. However, we're also seeing job descriptions that look like this. They're saying that you need to have experience in PPC, SEO, email, branding, social media, AI, Jasper tools, all of these things, and it's 40K, 6 years experience, and now you have to learn how to do TikTok even though it just rolled out like it's crazy, right? Budgets are getting cut left and right. Everybody wants Barbie production with Ken budgets. It's chaos. Go back to the 2019, we were chilling. Now, we're all stressed out. Everybody's freaking out. What in the world do we do amidst all of this, right? It's crazy out here, right? And then back in the day, I remember, I've been in this game for a long time. I can remember going to events talking about AI, and I would say to folks, you guys think AI could take your job? You think people could, like, AI could do what you do? No. Marketers were so proud, so happy. Now we're all freaking out, right? If I ask now, how many of you think AI can do elements of your job? Just a quick show of hands. Good. I seen a few of you didn't watch this. We're going to have some fun today. All right. So do you think you can do Sudoku faster than an AI? Definitely not. Right now, Sudoku can do the entire puzzle in the matter of seconds that our little human brains cannot even comprehend. There's this new app where you can do Where's Waldo? Anybody remember Where's Waldo? I'm aging myself, that book. There's an app where you can hold it up and it will find Waldo. It's crazy. It's wild. It's like the future is insane. All right, we're going to do a quick quiz. I'm going to show you some pictures. In these pictures, there's going to be a piece of food. I know we're getting close to break, and I'm going to show you an animal. I want you to identify how many animals are in the picture. And I'm going to change this slide as fast as an AI would have figured it out. You ready? All right, let's have some fun. All right, so how many muffins versus chihuahuas? The AI would have got it. How many bagels versus dogs? AI would have got it. How many pieces of fried chicken versus puppies? AI would have got it. How many sloths versus pastries? The AI would have got it. 8 muffins, 6 bagels, 6 pieces of chicken, 8 pastries, and guess what? AI wouldn't have got hungry, it wouldn't need a break, none of that would have happened. This is why the industry is in absolute turmoil. But to see where we're going, I like to go back into time. Let me go back into time to one of my first presentations on marketing, where I was telling people Google's becoming a destination. It doesn't care about your website. It cares more about shareholder value than it cares about your domain authority, 35, whatever it is. It doesn't care. All it cares about is that it needs to increase shareholder value. I was telling people back in 2018, 2019, you need to distribute your content. Everybody is getting all excited about Reddit, YouTube, Quora, LinkedIn, all of these sites showing up in the citations, and we're like, man, I really wish somebody would have told us back in 2018 that we should do that. Well, I tried. Nobody was listening. Everybody in the SEO world said, this isn't SEO. Well, welcome to the new age. All right, so here's what I want you to do. Because I do believe that I kind of know things, so this is a free framework that I want you to steal. I want you to take this back, print it off, put it on your desk, give it to your team, and use it. 4 simple models: research, creation, distribution, optimization. If we as an industry can forget the past where we got all caught up in content is king, let's create more content, and put marketing back into content marketing, we will be better off. So where do we start? Research. What is research? Research is the act of doing things like keyword research, audience research, community, SERP, backlinks, social sharing, all of it. You want to go to tools like ChatGPT. You can ask it to do a ton of research for your personal life. I've been trying to get a lot of electrolytes lately. As you can tell, I'm intense. I run around a lot. So I was asking for electrolyte powders. Let's put on my marketing hat. I can also say, I want you to summarize them in a spreadsheet with brand positioning, marketing tone, voice, price, description, audience, blah, blah, blah. Put it into a spreadsheet. It will do that for you. You get that, you say thank you because you don't want the LLM to get you into sleep one day. So you make sure that you're doing that. If you have PDFs and resources, you can upload those, like the investor report directly from Reddit. Upload that and say, I want you to review this and then give me some insights around what I can do with my company, with my org. Great way to ensure, again, that you're gathering that research. Next thing you can do is make sure that when you're doing this, you're looking at where it's actually pulling this data to help you be better, to be more efficient. This is where AI really gives you those superpowers to really win. All right, what else do I like to do? Again, I like to go into this alias of Sherlock Homeboy, especially when I'm doing work with our clients at Foundation, where I start to do research, not just with the tools, but actually with our eyes. I think that's one of the competitive advantages for good marketers, is that we actually have taste. One of the things I like to do is go outside of the tools and look for things like this. Let's pretend I ran a website that was called Rossi's Gardening Blog. I want to create more content about gardening. I want to influence the LLMs. I go to YouTube and I start to look for things. I might see that this thing, Easy Basil Propagation, is a video that is interesting. So I might then say, all right, this one has 350,000 views. That's interesting. It's probably showing up in Google. It's probably relevant. Let's use a tool to better understand what else do people propagate. Again, I don't have a green thumb, so I don't know a lot of these words, but propagating rosemary, propagating pothos, propagating lavender. Oh, look, interesting. It has 500 minimum searches, 850 max. It's not too many, but it's decent, so let's go a little bit deeper. I go back to YouTube and I realize that there's a ton of people looking for propagating lavender from cuttings. In fact, these videos in total have about 455,000 views. That's massive. That means I should probably consider creating some content for this, because 455,000 views is way more substantial than what the keyword told me about 800 visits on a monthly basis. So what I'm encouraging you to do is actually do research even for your business. Review sites. We work primarily in B2B software companies. Thousands of dollars are going into review sites every single year. It's wild. Why is it wild? Because when you look at the traffic, tons of sites are getting tanked. Some sites are thriving, like Calculator. However, G2, their traffic is tanking. When you look at Capterra, their traffic is tanking. TrustRadius, their sites are tanking. SoftwareAdvice.com, traffic is tanking. Yet we continue to invest in these sites that are losing BOFU traffic to sites like Reddit, and we sleep on the fact that Reddit is being cited in all of these LLMs. Some of you are in B2B. You invest thousands of dollars into these review sites. However, you sleep completely on sites like Reddit. You sleep completely on sites like YouTube. It is absolutely mind-blowing to me. I believe you got to follow the data. Since 2024, we've been monitoring some of the top bottom-of-funnel queries in SaaS across Capterra, G2, all of those sites, as well as Reddit. Reddit has officially taken over all of them. There's no question, folks, that they should have all tried to partner with Google as well. Anyways, when you look at Google AI overviews, what are the sites that are being cited more frequently than not? We're seeing YouTube show up time and time again. This is directly from the team at Profound. When you see this, this should be the research that is guiding your decisions instead of the old strategies and the old concepts. Especially, again, when you start to see LinkedIn showing up more and more in the citations. Maybe you should invest in LinkedIn articles. Maybe you should empower your executive team to start producing articles and content and newsletters on LinkedIn as well, instead of just getting stuck into the idea of doing the same thing you used to. When you look at these sites, again, less than 2% of all citations, 1.5%. However, we continue to funnel hundreds of thousands of dollars into these businesses regularly. All right, now let's talk about creation. Tons of content that you should be creating. I'm not saying that content, you shouldn't produce it. I'm saying that you need to think differently about how you do it. Again, if we go back to this idea that I run my own YouTube channel based off of this research where I'm seeing that YouTube is being cited by the LLMs more frequently than not, maybe I'm going to invest heavily in saying, all right, I need to create a full YouTube channel on propagating lavender and a bunch of other gardening topics. You might be thinking, Ross, we have a small marketing team. We can't do all this. Well, at the bare minimum, what you should do is probably go to ChatGPT, upload some of those old YouTube videos that you're treating like a library and say, hey, can you take these headshots? Can you take these videos and create thumbnails for me? And guess what you're going to get? A pretty decent thumbnail. Now, when you look at that, you might be thinking, why in the world is he wearing a Coogee sweater when he's talking about propagating lavender? I agree. So I'd say, ChatGPT, this is cool, but can you switch this up a little bit? And then it's going to put me in there. Listen, this is the worst AI will ever be. So even though that doesn't really look like me, it's not bad. But then I could say, hey, ChatGPT, I want you to write a script on how to propagate lavender. And you guess what I'm met with is very quickly that script. Then I can take that script, upload it to HeyGen, connect it to 11 Labs so it tries to create my voice. It'll have a hard time with the aboutes because I'm Canadian. However, check this out. Oh, my audio is not working. It's speaking. Crazy. It actually uses, do we have any audio? Can you do it? No? It's pretty cool. Find me later. It actually sounds like 90% like me. Anyways, so you can do this now, and then guess what you can do? You can go to a tool like Descript, and you can say, I want this in Mandarin, Spanish, French, German, Italian, or more, all in a matter of seconds, and have it translated so you can have an international presence with your video content that you could never do before. You can then start to do this over and over again with all of your YouTube content. Again, my head doesn't look like that, but you can do this over and over again and have amazing content at scale. If you're wondering, okay, we don't have a team to do this, great pro tip. HubSpot, other brands, they're investing in actually creating creators and empowering creators to create content on their behalf. Imagine if you go to Profound and you notice that YouTube is one of the most highly cited sources in Google AI overviews for your prompts that you've uploaded. Maybe you should start to create video content that replicate those YouTube videos that are being cited, and you engage YouTubers or people who can create content to develop them on your behalf, targeting those keywords. The biggest thing that I think marketers need to realize is that blogging isn't the only format of content we can create. Yes, it's still important. You look at sites like CNET, you look at sites like Bankrate, they generate millions of dollars worth of traffic on the back of this content still. Huge opportunity, especially when you apply best practices. These are the 6 key things that I recommend you do whenever you're using AI to create content, especially on your blog. these are things that are kind of like the fundamentals. So you embrace these, it's going to increase your likelihood of success. However, I don't believe that creating just blog content or video is where you should end. I think you should also be on Reddit. A lot of people sleep on it. I've been talking about Reddit for a very long time. I've been banned from Reddit about 18 times. I love it. It's great. We have a love-hate relationship. However, I'm a big fan of Reddit, massive fan. This is what businesses should do. This is the blueprint. Start with the branded subreddit. You might not own your brand subreddit today. If you do not, that's okay. I would try to reach out to the mods, see if they allow you to become a co-mod so you can join it too. You should also create your brand account. That's you/brand. If you don't have your brand account, get it ASAP. The Reddit team is also great. If you have a trademark, they will help you get your brand account, especially if it's dead. Also recommend that you start like a brand user account. So Ross from Profound or Ross from Foundation, that type of thing, for somebody at your company to represent you in these channels. Keith from Sonos does this really well. Matt from Next Insurance does this really well. Great opportunity. When it comes to how do you win on Reddit, I believe there's 4 simple types of content you have to create. Educate, engage, entertain, empower. You create these 4 types of content, you will increase, again, your likelihood of being successful on these channels. Can you include links on Reddit? 100%. Should you do it in your first 5 days? Not a chance. That's a fast way to get blocked. Bye, Felicia, you're out of here. All right, so once you've done that, you understand the fundamentals, it's time to distribute your content. There's a ton of ways that you should distribute your content. I wrote an entire book on it. However, I want to give you a quick rundown on what you should do. When you create something on one channel, you want to repackage it for others. Whether it's X, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a blog post, you need to take these assets and turn them into micro assets. I've done this with my podcast, helped us get 100,000 downloads. You take that podcast, you turn it into clips, you turn it into blog posts, you share it on LinkedIn. You are trying to be everywhere with these assets. You also want to recognize that in the research phase, you understood where your audience is. Again, I work with a lot of SaaS companies, so a lot of the companies that I try to reach are on sites like Hacker News or even Reddit, technical audiences. So we reverse engineer what type of content they want, then we distribute it to these channels without getting banned because we understood the way that these channels work. There's also tools like Runway ML that allow you to turn images into video. Highly encourage you to check that out. There are also tools out there that allow you to create synthetic versions of yourself. So that video that I tried to show you was created with 11 Labs, DID, and HeyGen, where you essentially upload audio files. It tries to replicate a synthetic version of your voice. You upload a video of you talking, and it brings it all together to create a talking head video of you. What's the future look like? I've got a lot of predictions. I think not only are AIs going to talk to each other, I think a lot of you are already watching YouTube videos where marketers are talking to the camera and you think it's a marketer, but it's actually just a synthetic person who's pretending that they're real. I think we're going to see AI sent recordings from SDRs at scale. There's going to be a lot of chaos in the industry. Finally, when you're thinking about distribution, I also want you to think long and hard about tapping into AI to be able to do things at scale. Canva is one of my favorite tools. However, you combine it with ChatGPT, you have superpowers. You can take a bunch of your best content you've ever shared on LinkedIn, best content you've shared on X. Say, hey, ChatGPT, I want you to create a bunch of these. Can you please send me a spreadsheet with all of these along with the handles? You can then take that and you can upload it to the data side of Canva. Canva has this import section where you can upload a spreadsheet. You can say, I want you to use this kind of like an email where I want you to take my quote, put it in the quote section, handle, put it in the handle section. It will do that for you, again, at scale. Let's say, however, you didn't like that photo because it's just a suit and it was kind of whack. You're like, all right, I want to create something that's more Mad Men-esque. Again, ChatGPT can create, or not ChatGPT, Midjourney can get that for you and it will actually describe what it sees. You then say, hey, I want you to add some melanin in there. It'll create something that looks a little bit more like me. Then in the matter of seconds, I can import that into Canva. In 20 minutes, I could get 30 new followers, 18,000 impressions by creating this system directly in this tool. Folks, you might be thinking, how's that going to drive real visits and quality, blah, blah, blah. There's tons of accounts right now on YouTube that are AI generated, 230,000 subscribers. This one is specifically about history. It has 27,000 subscribers. People don't care if the content is created with AI. They care whether or not the content is valuable. Reddit, again, I strongly encourage you to reach out. Redditors can be nice if you ask nicely. We do this with our clients all the time. We see that they have a subreddit they want to distribute their content to. We reach out on their behalf, get that subreddit so they can now act within it. Also, low-hanging fruit. If there's one thing you take away from this, I want you to do this when you get home. Install a Reddit pixel and run remarketing ads on Reddit. People are visiting Reddit to make bottom of funnel decisions, but you are not remarketing them. Absolutely wild to me. There's another tool called distribution.ai that I strongly encourage because you're probably feeling a little bit overwhelmed. Who in the world has time for this? Give this to your team. It will allow you to take a blog post, a podcast, a YouTube video, and repackage it for you into all of the different formats that I've kind of talked about today. It gives you the LinkedIn post, long form, using best practices, all of those things. All right, last sprint, optimize. This is it. Use this checklist. Again, take a picture, steal it, send it to your team on Slack. These are the things that you want to do to optimize your content on your site so you can win. You might be thinking, all right, I'm overwhelmed. That was crazy. I agree. But let me leave you with this. This is what the future looks like. It's going to be when you go to AI and you say, I want courtside tickets to the Jets game, or I want season tickets to the Eagles game. Can you go and find it for me? And the AI is going to actually go out and manage that entire experience on my behalf. That's where we're going. So if you embrace this framework where we put marketing back into content marketing, you will increase your likelihood of being able to win. While everybody else argues about what is GEO, I want you to start embracing a simple framework that realizes that it's a new dawn, it's a new day. You create valuable content once and you distribute that forever. You're constantly promoting it, you're amplifying it, and you're making it reach people. If you haven't read my book, I strongly encourage you to check it out, shameless plug. However, I do want to leave you with this. We are going through one of the most fundamental changing times in our industry. If there's one thing that I hope sticks with you is this. Have a growth mindset, keep showing up for events like this, keep experimenting, keep tinkering, and I hope that at least one idea that I shared with you today will stick with you longer than bubblegum. Thank you all so much. You've been great.